what software do you use to make the music?
I use GarageBand, which is a program that's only for MacBooks, and it simplifies the creation of music. I think the most influential interview subject was Hubert Brandon, because I actually did research on him before I didn't interview him, but I did some research on him before we had interviewed him, and I kind of had a background knowledge on who he was before we actually got in front of him. And when we got in front of him, he was such a kind man, and he was really conversational. He would talk to us, and it was easy to get information from him and stuff. It was really nice talking to him.
The fact that when Chrysler was brought into the Twinsburg area, that land that it rested on was originally Twinsburg Township. It was gerrymandered out of the township into the city so the city could take benefit of the taxes from that facility. And if any of you have ever been to that area where the community center and Chrysler stands, for years there was a fence that separated Chrysler from Twinsburg Heights. And we just thought that was so insane, because people could literally walk from where they lived in Twinsburg Heights to work at Chrysler. But they erected a fence to keep people from going back and forth to the Chrysler plant.
They deliberately allowed Chrysler to come up here, and the city took that over, which was wrong, and they had a meeting on a Sunday so they can establish Chrysler out here. But Chrysler came, and the people out here had jobs. It was good for them. But the way they approach and they retain the township land, it was unlawful. Well, Twinsburg got the taxes for Chrysler. In other words, I put it this way: they got the slice of bread and we got the crumb.
And one of the things that impoverishes a township, the township cannot extract wages or taxes from municipalities or businesses that are inside this perimeter. Only a village can, and a city. And so therefore the township is suffering because of lack of income, but the city prospers because they are a city.
Well, what happened, the people that moved out to Twinsburg Heights after we did, we were some of the founding families. I have to say that because we was out there in '39. Well, a lot of these people that moved out there from Cleveland, they didn't want to incorporate with the city of Twinsburg. They had all kind of excuses. They don't like the police department, this, that, and the other. But we tried to tell them they'll upgrade our community. We'll get running water, sewers, sidewalks, streets, and everything. They didn't want to do it. That was the tension. And I think that tension is still there.
It's still there.
But that's why I wanted to buy a house when I graduated. I keep saying graduate. When I retired. But because of the fact that they didn't want to incorporate with the city, and I said, well, my property is going to go down instead of going up. So this is one of the disadvantages that Twinsburg Heights had. And they're still not incorporated with Twinsburg.
But they're still they're infiltrating up here like mad now.
Right, yeah.
They used to wouldn't come up here, period.
At the time,
Not prejudice.
there was no Caucasian people living in Twinsburg Heights.
No, none at all. They were scared to come up here.
But now you got
all of a sudden it's more, I think almost more, like half and half now.
Half and half, yeah.
Yeah, it's just crazy.
Joe Brady was the only one that stayed.
Yeah, he's the only one, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you notice, the annexation is that the Twinsburg Township is kind of like a J for like Jesus, I say. It's like a J of the property is only left. So you have a J-shaped property, and all the rest of it has been annexed over by the city of Twinsburg. So it doesn't make any logical sense.
And then if you move down from there, so this person, the Heights is zoned as red. Red means that's low value. Mortgages, the house is there, there's not value, there's not a lot of, it's not a good place to invest, is the best way to understand it. And the term for that, if you ever want to look it up, is called redlining. And you can Google this, you can see how this is being used all over the United States to create a whole bunch of communities like the Heights, where people live there and have, and they buy homes and they're in a location where the banks and the governments, they kind of declare this is a place that has no value.
So when I was working in hoping to make this documentary and running a college knowledge workshop, it became a point where I realized that a lot of students that were volunteering in the program didn't really have a sense of why, when we put up statistics, we saw that a lot of the people in the community didn't have bachelor degrees, or we saw that the housing value was much lower, or that the city had a lower tax revenue. These, well, again, more structural issues, a lot of students didn't understand, so they were looking at the kind of how can people make different choices. And I think people's choices are important, but I think in a workshop I stopped and wanted to really give a history of redlining. And redlining really goes back to look at what are the policies and just racism that really influence the development of communities throughout America. I knew the distinctions between being black growing up in Twinsburg Heights, and then when you cross the highway, and my peers who grew up in the more middle-class neighborhoods and so on. And I knew the differences of how we were treated when we went to school. But when no one gives you any type of vocabulary, no one explains what are some of the policies or the history or some of the structural forces that help design these two segregated neighborhoods, you start to believe these ideas when you are in school with your peers from across the highway, when they talk about your neighborhood as a slum, or they talk about your neighborhood as this criminal place where no one should go up on the hill. You start to believe kind of that something may be wrong, or that their neighborhood may be poor, or all these things because people are making bad choices, or something's wrong with the culture. But as I got to college and learned more about structural racism, and learned again that what was going on in Twinsburg Heights is not unique, that all over the country, all over Northeast Ohio, there's these small low-income communities, often predominantly black, that are unincorporated townships and just cut off from any real resources and funding to help develop them.
We call it the rock, which is, this place is nothing but a solid rock. And it's good for factory, like stamping plants and so forth like that. And they really wanted, the city wanted this place up here. So, but we had gathered Carlton Powell and Mr. Parker, myself, Jose Jones, and others. We had organized a group, and we had a meeting with them and told them no, they will not cooperate with them, because what they wanted, the Heights, because like I said, for the factories, and we were not giving it up, and we fought them for years and years. I told them, I'm not giving up my shack.
So this is a picture of myself and my mother, Madeline Curtis. And this is my mother's mother, Claudia Johnson. And this is Edna Van. So 4 generations of family members. So the matriarch.
You see a picture of the center before it closed. Did you see that? Well, that's just the door. That was one of our.
Oh wow.
That was one of our memorabilia that the senior coordinator gave us, and it's so meaningful.
But that community center, in terms of what it did for us as having a safe haven that we could go to during the summer months, as a youth, as a younger child, arts and crafts, sports, dances. That's how we learn to socialize. I can honestly say that's where I learned to dance, at the Twinsburg Heights Community Center. But it's also where I learned political activism. Because if not for that center, we would not have known how to organize, would not have known how to take on those issues that surrounded our community.
There was a lady by the name of Madam Sonora Mix that gave 3.5 acres of land, somewhere there about, to this community. Okay, that where the land could not be sold or bought or rented. And over the years, they started to build a shelter house, so to speak, where they had activities in the summertime. There's no heat, no water, no sewer. So in the winter, it would close down.
But the center, the community center was started, back in the 50s. Yes, and the first center that was put up there was constructed by the older people, older men coming home from work, and they would lay a block or 2 blocks at a time, So if you notice at that center, you could have seen how the blocks weren't even at times, They go up, down, but they took their time to build it. And myself, I was out there playing baseball. I wasn't fooling with the building or whatnot. And they did build that building. And from that point, the center prospered a little.
I'm a member of AA. Not an active member right now, but I've been clean for almost 28 years, just by the grace of God. And the first meeting that I ever really went to was at the community center up there. They used to have meetings on Tuesdays and Fridays up there. Now I don't know where they go to have the meetings. I think it's over on 82. But I mean, that was something that was right in the community, and it saved my life. Just by the grace of God, I'm thankful that it was there for me at the time.
Yes, go ahead, please. Your name and address, please.
Hi, my name is Tiffany Walker. I live at 1959 Rugby Street.
I started going to the trustees meetings just because I felt like it would be important, as a community member, to know what was going on in the community, to understand the status of the community center, and to try as much as I could, along with other people, to advocate for the need to have a community center in the Heights. So going to the meetings, the trustees would share, what was going on with the process related to purchasing the land, whether or not they were going to do that, first of all. And then when they did decide to purchase the land, what would happen to the building, and just how, they were trying to make it a community space, even though they decided in the long term that they weren't going to be able to manage the building and to keep that.
Yeah. There used to be basketball court, the playground they had up there, and I fought to try to keep that up there, but it was no success.
Well, the basketball courts are still up there.
Yeah, but there's no water. You go up there, there's no water, no bathroom.
No.
You know, when they tore the building down, they took all that away from them, and you know, who wants to go up there and you got to go a half a mile to go to the bathroom and get some water?
Mr. Curry.
My name is John Curry, and I want to speak primarily about my seniors. We have, I guess 15, 20 seniors come up 4 days a week for lunch, and they socialize. Now, we not only have seniors come in, and when she spoke of what we do it for Northern Summit County. We have between 100 to 150 food giveaways we do each month. Now, what I'm hearing here now is that all of that's through. That you're not going to do that anymore. We're not. I'm not saying you. I'm saying we're not going to be able to do that anymore because of what's happening here. But what I can't understand is how we can leave these people out there that come in there for services. You know, and it's a hard thing. It's a hard thing, you know. And like we pick up bread, and that's minor, you know. But this food giveaway, you got a lot of people, and you're talking about hard times. Hard times are here, and they're going to stay for a while. So we're not only serving Twinsburg Heights, we're serving Northern Summit County, and I see these people come in. So you know, I just don't see how we can more or less get out of the way and let it happen. You know, I've been around here for, well, we won't even discuss how many years. I've been here for quite a while. Well, I will discuss it. I'm 79 years old now, and I've been here since 1944. You know, off and on, and I have a great deal of interest in the Heights area, if you want to say that. But what's happening now, it's kind of heartbreaking, you know. And sure, I might cry, you know, because I'm that type of person, really. And I just can't see you guys letting us down to the point where it's you go ahead and crawl and see what you can get. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Curry. If Plan A doesn't appear to be an option now, we have to expeditiously look at Plan B or Plan C.
Scene 2, take 4, Curry. What is your hopes for the Heights in the future? Where would you like to see it?
Well, my thing is young people really now, and I'd like to see some younger persons running for trustee because as of now, they have no representation there in the Heights as far as the trusteeship code, you know. So that's where I'd like to see the youngsters, and that you've got a bunch here that seem like they're really into different things, but I'd like to see one of the youngsters run for trustee.
You have to strive for what you want. Because if we had to just stay back there with the dirt roads and never tried to do anything or tried to prosper, where would we be? And you just got to look forward. You just got to strive for it.
It's a lot of history here. It's a lot of history in the Heights. You know, most people would just think that people right around our age just grew up automatically with indoor bathrooms, with indoor plumbing, but it wasn't like that.
Yeah, we worked hard around here.
And just so that they can learn how to be grateful. Because, and look back to see how hard it was. I mean, we didn't realize it was hard. Most of it was fun to us, but to let them realize how hard it was and how far we've come as a township.
Probably down the road, in terms of years from now, Twinsburg Heights probably will not be remembered as Twinsburg Heights. Because this is kind of like a real estate name, like Ludlow in Cleveland. You will not find a Twinsburg Heights on the map. It probably will not be a Twinsburg Heights when people die out, this probably be part of Twinsburg Township, or it might annex to the city of Twinsburg.
People change. Not the original people, but more people started moving in, and sometimes they look at us like we didn't belong here, you know. You know, like we were strangers or something, you know, and we've been here all our lives, you know. And we were just used to, you know, everybody getting along, but it's not that way anymore.
So it's gonna be like 20 years from now. How you think it's gonna be different?
Shoot, I bet you it's gonna be beautiful. It done went a long way from the time when I was in. Yeah, it done moved up. Didn't nobody, I'm gonna tell you what, didn't nobody want it, but now they want it. They didn't want nothing but Chrysler, the Twinsburg. Now they want, and at Twinsburg trying to buy everything up they can get.
I don't know if we'll ever incorporate with the city of Twinsburg, but I hope that we can maintain what we have up here. A lot of new people have moved in. It's not like it used to be. I mean, we used to know everybody up and down every street, and now there are people I don't even know. But I think that the camaraderie is still there of the older ones that were here. And I'd like to keep it this way if we could. Who knows what's going to happen in the future? None of us know.
I could see the changes in the township now, even though I am blind, but